Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kurt. Welcome back to the Vector W8 Garage. Got kind of a strange one here today. Toyota. I don't know where to begin. My 2015 Tundra is currently in at the dealership, having some work performed on it, and I may go into a video on that at a later date here. But getting some work done on it. Of course, the parts are not available because of the supply chain issues that are still going on from the era of COVID-19, and so we're having problems getting parts for the truck. So my dealership has been generous enough to give me a loaner, something that I can drive around for a while. I was kind of surprised by it. I expected them to pick the cheapest piece of crap they had on the lot and put me in it, and I would have been grateful for that, because it at least gives me something to get around in, and I would have been completely happy. Instead, they gave me something a little bit different. They gave me a 2023 Tundra Platinum. So the exact same trim level as my current Tundra is, and so I get to do a compare and contrast of what I do and don't like about this thing. I've had a chance to drive it around for just about a week now. It's interesting. I'll go through things and we'll do a little review on this thing and let you know what I think of it, and we'll discuss the issues that Toyota's currently having with them too. So hopefully a decent little video here for you guys to watch if you're interested in Toyota Tundra content. So we'll do that. If not, well, I apologize. Every day can't be a Vector W8 day. That car is the most reliable car I own, so it's kind of hard to do a lot of fix-it videos and repair it videos and change this or change that videos, because that car really it has just been the perfect car compared to everything else I've ever owned. We did a pretty good job of making it one of the most reliable vehicles I've ever seen. Compared to anything else, just about, whether that be Toyota, Nissan, Ford. I've kind of got a bit of everything. So Chrysler products. My last Jeep was good, but I have stories that can go for days on how many vehicles I've lemon lawed back with Chrysler. So we probably don't want to go down that path. But the Toyota path, we'll give you a shot of this thing. I haven't cleaned it at all, so it's been sitting outside for a week, being driven, sporadically. I'm not really in it a tremendous amount, but I'll give you a shot of the outside of this thing, go around, do a walk around on it, and then we'll take a look at the interior on it, and what I do and what I don't like, what I think they've cheaped out on, what I think they did right. There's a lot they've cheaped out on compared to my Platinum. You can see a lot of decontenting that's gone on in this thing, so I'll point out those items. So here we go. Well, I guess we can start here in the interior, kind of go over some things real quick. The new digital dash, not too bad, pretty clear. It has some indicator lights on it that of course I need to read up on and see what they're actually for. I'm guessing a lot of them are satellite communication, etc., stuff like that. Pretty easy to read. The thing I don't like about it is if you look at the voltage meter down in the lower left here, is it doesn't tell you how many volts it's actually at. It's somewhere between 9 and 19. You could put a 14.5 or a 14.6 in there, which is normally what a alternator would charge at. So you could do that. This is kind of goofy that it's just got a bar there where it says it's charging. Fuel gauge is fine, it just is, pretty basic. RPMs are nice. The mile per hour counts right in the center of it, so that's kind of nice to look at. You can see both very clearly. Your average mile per gallon, it's got quite a bit of information, good information on the display itself. The nav system in it slash infotainment system. So far, kind of a mixed bag of tricks with it. Some things on it I really like. The one thing I do like about it is they kind of stepped up their game with the audio system in this truck versus the one that was in the 2015 Tundra that I had. So it's actually quite decent, and you can mess with it enough to where you can get it to sound pretty darn good. The imaging on it's really good. For the driver's seat, they've got some speakers. They've got a tweeter up here in the A-pillar. They've got a small upper mid-range in the dash. They've got a center channel in it, and then of course the same on the other side. They're using a lot of the reflectivity of the windshield to help with the imaging. It really is quite decent. Voices, vocals, everything are right here in front of you. Not sure how this is going to come out. It does have a heads-up display in it. The heads-up display is fairly decent. There's a lot of reflectivity in the windshield of the actual heads-up display itself. I don't see a lot of artifacts from the gut ray in it, which is good, but when you move left or right, you can certainly see where it cuts out. So if I move over to the left or I move over to the right, it'll cut the display off there enough to where it's kind of irritating. I would have thought they would have had a broader width to it on the windshield, but they don't. So it's a mixed bag of tricks. I don't really pay a lot of attention to it when you're going down the road. It projects about to the end of the hood, so that's where it looks like it's out in front of you. So decent, like I say, not anything wonderful. It's certainly minimalistic on what it displays, but it is, at least it does have a heads-up display. So that's a nice addition to the truck versus the 2015. I'll give them props for the heads-up display ad on the Platinum. The other thing I do like, and I don't know how well it's going to show up here, is the stitching around the steering wheel and around the seats, and I'll see if I can kind of get you a shot of them, but it's kind of hard because it doesn't show up really good on camera. The stitching is all blue on the black background, which my favorite color combination in the world is black and blue. So kind of a big win for me personally. Other people may not like it, but I love it. The downside to what they've done is if you look on the passenger side of the dash panel, mine has diamond stitching all across the airbag. This one, they've completely removed all the stitching. They've got a couple of, double stitch rows going up the side, but it's not quite a French stitch. It's just kind of double stitching on it. So they cheapened out heavily by not putting the diamond pattern in it, and I'm sure that was quite a savings for them. But the problem with that is the same for the seats. So if you look at the seats are very basic looking compared to what's in my Tundra, the 2015, and I've got all diamond stitching in the seats, and they've got a nice badge or emblem, should I say, that says Platinum in my seat that is not in here. These seats literally look like they were at the limited level, which was a step below, and then they transferred those in to the Platinum. So I'm sure they saved quite a bit on the seats compared to what they had in the previous model Tundra. So that's disappointing. Something I really don't like. The controls for your air conditioning and everything being here are kind of nice. It's not too difficult to deal with. I do like that they have a volume knob for controlling audio versus something that you would use like this, which is down or up for your temperatures. So that's nice. It's at least a tactile volume knob, something that makes sense. The other thing I do like, if we pan up, Mirror's decent. Not a whole lot that I can see truly different from what's on mine, the 2015. What is interesting is all of the controls for the sunroof, which are up here. There's a lot of different stuff here. There's the back window up and down. There's sunshade for the sunroof, which is now electric, which is nice. Mine was just a manual pullover. And the other thing that really I love is that it has the panoramic sunroof in it. So it's got, you know, pretty much a full-length sunroof, goes front to back with a cover that is electronically controlled as opposed to being a manual pull like mine is. So that was a big win. They spent some money on that. I would venture a guess it's probably a Webasto unit or something, you know, just with Toyota's etched glass in it, just because that's usually a requirement. But typically that's something, you know, like a Webasto would do for a sunroof. So really kind of nice there. Center console, drink holder is kind of a you know, covered item now. That's 6 of this, half dozen of another. I don't think they need to spend all the money on that. Mine are just exposed and easy to get to. This is kind of goofy. I do like that they have an automatic cell phone charger in it. That comes in handy. You just throw your cell phone up there and it sits in there and charges nicely. So again, another item that's an ad that I'll give them kudos for. It's quite nice. Shift lever's decent. Neither here nor there on it. Everything seems to work pretty well. It does have an electronic parking brake in it. So it's, you know, pull on, hold, and push off. So it's got a brake hold. You can hit that, pull it on, push to off type scenario. So not too bad. Steering wheel controls are kind of okay. I actually like the older style stock compared to this, because you're trying to look at so many buttons quickly. So, you know, you've got your volume controls, which are now in the steering wheel, which are nice for the stereo. So that's a plus. Also helps out with cell phone, etc. All your cell phone controls are on this side, and then anything that's on the dash for your display changes is also here. So you've got your messages that are up on top, trailer, tow, which is built into this vehicle now, which was not in the Platinum that I have. So again, another plus. Some things that are good. They've got you know, all of your indicators that you need in there that you can scroll through. So that's kind of nice. A lot of buttons down here to the left of the driver, which are good. You've got your trip odometer resets, your hazard lights on and off. You've got your brightness controls for your dash, some automatic headlight controls, etc. that are down here, fog lights, heated steering wheel, which again, kudos for that. My Platinum did not have a heated steering wheel. It did have heated seats and cooled seats, which this does have also. Again, on the door, pretty basic for what was on my Platinum versus this one. You've got your mirrors, mirror control. You've got the ability to select to have them automatically fold in, which is kind of nice. When you park this thing, the mirrors automatically fold up on it in that setting. And then just your lock, your unlock for your doors, and then the 4 window controls. So decent, but the door panels, again, no diamond stitch on them. Again, in my Platinum, it's all diamond stitched down the door panels. So Toyota really cheaped out when it came to that. And I gotta be honest, this looks more like a Limited's interior would look on a 2015 than it does, you know, what a Platinum looked like back in 2015. And so would I be willing to give up my Toyota for this one, to have seats that are this basic looking and their highest trim level package that they have. I mean, the only other trim levels that you can go to are the ranch style interior of the 1792, and then the TRD Pro interior, which I haven't seen a TRD Pro, so I won't speak to it for compare and contrast. But some things here that are just a little cheaper looking than what I would have expected. But in the land of the more you decontent, the more profit you make, well, that's what Toyota is now doing, and that's evidenced by other things in this truck. Again, no analog gauges. Truthfully, I used to work for the company that used to do infotainment systems and dash panels. This is much cheaper to do from a cost perspective. The programming up front is where you spend all your money at, but the display itself is technically cheaper than doing analog gauges. So you're not having to have any of the stuff that's required to build an analog gauge. This is just, you're watching a TV set basically. So again, a cost save in the long run, just with the initial cost being in the programming of it all. So there's quite a bit that has changed, not for the better in the interior, and some things that are better in the interior. It's not a wash for me. I would much rather have some of the accents on the seating and the panels and everything else, the stitching, the diamond stitch, that made this look much more upscale than it currently is. So kind of a bummer. Again, the infotainment display is not bad. Here's my big complaint for it. You're seeing what I'm seeing. This is the map, and it is black and white basically, which is terrible. You've got this beautiful full color display, and I'll have to go through the settings and see if that can be changed at all. But it is annoying as shit, because during the day, to glimpse over at this and look at what it says, the writing that they've got is so tiny that if you were trying to find a road, you would have a very difficult time trying to find it. So to me, that's a definite downfall. Even though it's got a much bigger display than the old truck, it's not better. So we'll pop out of here and jump to the exterior of it and do a quick run through of what I see on the exterior, and show you some of the things I don't like there either. Alright guys, so I'll apologize in advance. I mean, it is kind of a bit dirty. Like I say, I've been driving it and it's been sitting outside here. Front end on this truck, it's a love or hate design. It's pretty polarizing. The grill is so huge on this thing, I think it's pretty hideous. To me, not a win. I would much prefer the older grill style that I had, where it's just more proportionate for the truck. So that kind of really will throw you for a loop if you don't like the way that this front end is styled. Some of you may love it, and hey, I get it. It's personal taste for sure. The issue is I find it pretty offensive from just my perspective. Don't like the way the front end looks at all. The copycat of the Chevy design for the over fender indentions, kind of annoying. I'm not a big fan of it. Again, not my taste. The wheels look nice, decent. They're all blacked out on this particular vehicle, so they look decent. The paint's decent. It looks pretty well applied from the factory. They did a nice job with that. Platinum badging, this is kind of a give or take for me. It's pretty big and goes all the way down the entire side of the vehicle. Mine was up on the fender, or is up on the fender, should I say. And so this This one here, kind of big, bold, and in your face, which I guess is okay if you're trying to advertise the Platinum Series. The bed, again, still very short. You know, probably about a 5.5, maybe a 6 foot bed on it, which is about the same size as mine, so I guess I can't really complain either way. The problem I have is if you stand back from this thing, the hood is almost as long as the bed. It's huge. The way that it jets out there and pushes out past the front wheels and tires, it looks absolutely enormous. It almost looks like the truck is cut into thirds, where the hood's as long as the center, which is as long as the bed, which it's a little bit annoying to me. I don't like how enormous that hood looks like it is. And of course, you know, now you've gone from having a V8 in this thing to a twin turbocharged 6. What really sucks from my perspective is in 2015 my Tundra at base level package was 386 horsepower, and you fast forward now, this is, you know, almost 9 years into the future, and you've got a twin turbo 6 with the exact same horsepower as the V8 had 8 years ago. I'm sorry, Toyota, but GM, Ford, Chrysler, everybody else has come up with much more powerful packages under the hood in their trucks over the years, and Toyota has lingered behind, and it's anemically low. The horsepower of this truck is terrible. The foot-pounds of torque, because of the way that the engine management system is and the transmission management system is in this thing, when you get on it off the line, it does not have a great deal of pickup. It's a pretty slow truck. Based on that alone, because I tend to lean more towards the performance side of things, this really bothers me. I get in it and it doesn't feel like it's got anywhere near the kind of horsepower that it should have. The bed of the truck, nothing too fancy, nothing too shabby. It's got the same lockdown setup around the perimeter of the bed. I haven't noticed if it's... Oh, okay, so they... yeah, it looks like it's a spray-on liner. So they've gone with spray-on liner, which is the same as what my 2015 has. I love that. It's been very durable. It has held up like you wouldn't believe. So I give them kudos for their spray and bed liners and the way that those have been done. It's, you know, it's decent. It's about the same. I would give it a break even for old to new. From a design setup, they haven't really made any advancements in there. The same rail system exists that was here. Now, I gotta admit, I had a 2004 Nissan Titan LE that was their top of the line trim, and in 2004, you know, so we're going back 20 years ago. And its rail system, the bed rail system, was 10 times better than anything that's in this Toyota. I'll be honest. Nissan's setup was quite impressive, actually, for what it was. Again, it's the you know, standard accoutrement for the tailgate. Nothing fancy, nothing bad. They've kept, which I have on my truck. Well, and how does theirs disengage? Mine just flips right down, and this one doesn't seem to just flip right down. It looks like the bed step is there, but I don't know what they have to unlock it. So there must be pinned up there or something, because boy oh boy, I can move the whole bed of the truck without it coming down. Now mine just is a quick fold down, and nice and easy. You just kick it down, kick it back up, and it does a great job. Tail lights, you know, not a big fan of the design. It's nothing spectacular. Just kind of par for the course. Here's where it really gets annoying, and this happened to me yesterday. I went grocery shopping, and when I went to get groceries in it, I went to put stuff in the back, and of course, you immediately get the electric step that comes out. So, yeah, it's great that they added that. The truck is lower than my 2015. You know, I would imagine they did that for fuel economy standards. You know, drop this thing lower to the ground, even more so than the old one. But adding that step to it, wow, it's great if you're a soccer mom wanting to get in and out of this thing. When you go to put groceries in, that thing nails you in the shin like you wouldn't believe. And then the distance you've got to traverse here to go across that is about 18 to 20 inches before you can even reach into the seat to put groceries or anything else back here that you're going to be carrying home. So I would have rather have had the fixed side steps that my truck has, just because that got me in the shin I don't know how many times trying to load stuff into the back of the truck. Very disappointing for me. Not something I like. I mean, you can see how far out these things jet from the side of the truck. They're out here quite a ways. I mean, it's not like they're kind of tucked in a little bit. They stick way out, you know, from the vehicle, and you end up knocking your shins on that like no tomorrow. So not a big fan of that. I would rather do without those, to be honest with you, after having them. We do have a, well, what I thought was a pull to see if any of the seat moves. I thought they would have access to maybe some under seat storage, and maybe they do, but for some reason trying to tug on this side, which I would have thought it would have unlocked, doesn't seem to do anything for it. I'll have to look into that. Again, here on the side you've got access to your equipment to change your spare tire, your jack and your wrench, etc. are here behind the seat, which is kind of nice. Mine were below the seat, so my question is why doesn't the bottom one unlock? So I'll have to look at that. Maybe somebody jammed it up. Like I say, not my truck, so we'll say. But yeah, the side steps are a definite deterrent for me. They tuck up nice. They tuck away really nice. They look well fitted. But truthfully, knocking my shins on those things trying to load stuff into the vehicle was more of an annoyance than anything else. So that's that. Transmission wise, the transmission seems to do a decent job. So transmission wise, the transmission seems to do a pretty decent job. It certainly isn't bad. I wouldn't call it great, but again, it's not bad. It shifts well between, you know, gears, and does what it's supposed to do. The engine, as I had mentioned, is very anemic. It's not something that I find impressive when I get in it and take it for a drive. I'd rather have the power of a Raptor or something like that, just because, I mean, if you're going to have a twin turbo 6, you may as well have one with some power in it. The bitch is the engine. The engines in these trucks are failing left, right, and center. Toyota's infamous reliability is out the window. They have done some things machining wise at their assembly plants for the engines that don't clear out all of the debris from inside the passageways, the oil passageways, etc. And they're burning main bearings in these things left, right, and center. And there's 100,000 of them under recall right now. So for engine issues, and from what I understand, there's a lot of issues at dealerships where they're having the dealership rebuild your engine, which dealerships aren't truly equipped as an engine house would be. So if you took, you know, your engine to some place that was a professional engine rebuilder, that's one thing, because they've got all the machinery there to do it and do it correctly and make sure it's done right. Dealerships do not have a machine shop at hand. So they get inside there, and if there's, you know, issues, they're really not trained to pull these things apart and deal with them by Toyota. If you're an ASE certified master mechanic, sure, you've got that capability. You're smart enough to figure out what needs to be done. But from a tech that's, you know, a Toyota trained tech, all they're teaching them to do is remove and replace. So everything's a remove, everything's a replace. If something goes bad, you pull it off, you send it in for warranty work, it goes back in. Same thing happens if you go take your vehicle in after the warranty expires. They find what's wrong with it, remove and replace. So for them to be rebuilding engines at a dealership scares the heck out of me from my perspective. I would not want to have that done with my vehicle. I would want them to take the long block out, send that back into Toyota, have Toyota come back and supply a long block that's brand new and set that in there, and then we know the problem's completely resolved. Because with the dealership resolving it, or rebuilding it, should I say, you don't know that they've cleaned anything out properly. You don't know that everything's been scrubbed, you know, to the level it needs to be. Chances of them having a true hot tank on hand where they can do a full immersion of that whole long block assembly in there, you know, get the pull the crankshaft apart, put it in there, put all your rods, your pistons in there, everything, and clean everything out to the point where all that debris is 100% gone. No, they're not doing it. So again, something I'd be very skeptical and very leery of. So, you know, my advice is don't buy one of these, just because you can't trust what they're doing with them. Toyota's saving a lot of money. This is kind of a sad day in the guise of people like me who really admired Toyota's reliability and their ability to make something pretty well bulletproof. These trucks are supposed to go forever. You know, Toyota's reputation is, you know, 300,000, 400,000 miles is not a big deal. There are Tundras out there with million miles on them. So to go from that to something where you've got an engine that's basically a grenade in these, that's wiping itself out and wiping the bearings out. And if you go out on YouTube and look it up, of course, you know, any of you who are watching this video, I'm sure have, you'll hear a lot of, you know, knocks, you know, in the lower end of the engine that are happening, whether it's a rod knock or you know, the main journal knock in there. But there's some big problems going on with these engines. So if it were me, would I trade in my 2015 and look forward to enjoying something like this? Absolutely not. I would not want this truck. I think Toyota cheaped out in too many areas on it. I'm not impressed by it in any way, shape, or form. I wouldn't want to own it. I wouldn't want to drive it. Driving it around right now has given me a taste for it. And compared to the older Tundra, whew, I'll keep the older Tundra, thank you. I'll enjoy mine, you know, for a long time to come. But I will not be looking to trade in on something like this. The issue is also a good price comparison. 2015, so 8 years ago, my fully loaded Platinum was $48,000 all in. I do believe on the window sticker. I'll have to go pull it to be 100% sure. But I do believe that I was around 48 grand, maybe 49. Today, this truck is $80,000+, almost double the price. So to double the price of the vehicle and then take away a lot of the niceties that were in the interior of it, not a win for any of the customers. So yeah, no, I'm disappointed. Toyota did not exactly do a bang-up job with this thing, and its reputation is preceding it now at this point with all the failed issues with this truck. So it's not something I'm gonna endorse, not something I would recommend anybody go out and buy. I certainly won't be trading mine in for one. Besides that, mine's got a lot more done to it, which was all on my end of things, but they were all factory options at the time that you paid the dealership to actually install and upgrade. So the big thing that we, have on something like my Tundra is its supercharger. It's got a TRD supercharger on it. That TRD supercharger, it's producing 550 horsepower, 650 pound-feet of torque. So when compared to this thing, which, they should have had this truck at that kind of a level by now. I mean, 8 years later. And for it to have this in, the same 385 horsepower, 86 horsepower, whatever it is, compared to the same 385, 86 horsepower that mine had. The torque's not there right out of the gate with this thing. The V8 had more torque off the line. They limit the amount of torque that this thing will transfer when you get on the throttle. So it's not a win. So sorry if you're looking to buy one and you were looking for a rave review on one. For this being a Platinum, I'm not impressed with it. Compared to the old Platinum, yep, it's got some added features. It's got the heads-up display. It's got the panoramic sunroof, which is really nice, and I'll give them kudos for that. The JBL audio system in this vehicle compared to what was in mine, yeah, this is a major leap forward. They did a great job from a sound quality perspective. It really is a decent sounding little system in there. I'll give them credit for that. The heated steering wheel, nice. Mine didn't have that. They only had heated and cooled seats in mine, so that was kind of the downside. Mine was quite a bit behind in where other vehicles were at that level and at that time. I mean, my Jeep Cherokee was of that same era and had heated leather seat and everything, or heated leather steering wheel, heated seats, cooled seats, etc. So it was further advanced than Toyota's Platinum Tundra was. But this one today here, there aren't enough things that they have done to improve it, to make it, I think, better than what they had at the previous level. Again, I'll be keeping mine. I won't be trading it in on this Platinum. The dealership can keep this. So it is what it is. Toyota messed up. I think they have not come far enough. From an engine perspective, they should have knocked it out of the ballpark. They should have had a 550, 600 horsepower engine in something of this trim level. When you're paying $80,000+ for a truck to have 385 horsepower, I don't think so. You're going to beat the snot out of this thing towing with it. It's going to be working and laboring very hard compared to a V8. Just because you're putting extra stress on, fewer cylinders to do the same thing. So, yeah, for me, not a win, Toyota. That's all I got for you, folks. Everybody have a wonderful day. Maybe we'll take this thing out for a quick little drive so you can just kind of hear it go down the road. Oh, God, we do need to do that just for the annoyance factor. So, the other thing that will annoy the snot out of you is the engine in this thing. It sounds like a twin turbo 6-cylinder, which the turbos just kill the exhaust note on it. So there's no exhaust note. I mean, it sounds like your basic, mom and pop sedan when you drive it around town. Everybody outside of the vehicle doesn't even hear it. It's fairly dead quiet. But they pipe in through the stereo system a false engine bravado, and it irks the snot out of me to have to listen to it when you go down the road. For me, it's just pitiful. So again, something that Toyota, I will say, is it's pathetic. So yeah, let's go for a little ride and we'll let you hear that. Alright, so here we are. Engine started up. Now it's hotter than heck in here. So I'm going to give it a second to cool down. And we'll that way I can let you guys hear what they've actually done with this. It's, like I say, it's pathetic. Not something that I want to listen to, not something I want to hear. And then because your stereo system is competing with what they're trying to put out in engine noise, you've got that interfering with what you're listening to on the stereo. And I'd much rather hear the stereo in this thing than I would like to hear their fake engine noise come over the vehicle. So oh, you guys get to see here the fine road that I live on. This has been a joy here too. If you can see here the patchwork, yeah, they've renewed my road here this year for me. Yeah, doing a nice job. I don't know how much you can see there of this, but it's just potholes and patchwork the entire way down. So yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to the county, as they have refused to repave this road, and it is one of, or should I say, is the worst road in our county. 3 police officers live down this road, and so they patrol the entire county, and they said by far this is the worst road in the county. So here we are, we're going down it. You'll just, I don't know if you can hear all the bumps and the shakes and the hits, and you get an idea of how rough this is. It's really rough. So going down this road is a lot of fun every day. So people who wonder why I don't take the Vector out and go for a drive, the other direction going down this road, it turns into a dirt road because some shenanigans went on with the county and with the township there. But yeah, I don't know if you're seeing all this, but this is the fine road that I live on, and a lot of it's dirt even here. Sections of this are all dirt in between the 2 tire tracks because they've refused to patch what's becoming dirt. But yeah, it just beats you up coming all the way down this road, the fine road that it is. So yeah, that's nice. Yep, and here's where it kind of clears up a little bit. So for the last 100 yards to the stop sign, it's somewhat okay, but the whole edge of this road is gone off to the right hand side there. As you can see, there's nothing there. It just, goes into dirt. So yeah, so let me see if I can turn down the fan here, because the fan is all the way up, and then I'm hoping the microphone will pick up on this. I'm not real sure it will, but we'll give it a couple of accelerations. You can hear the engine that they pipe in and fake. So that's yeah, that's the fake engine noise that exists inside the Tundra that they're piping through the stereo system for you. What's funny is the audio's set at a certain level for that, so it's separate from the volume knob on the stereo, so you can't turn it up and you can't turn it off from inside the passenger compartment. There is, from what I have been told, the ability to shut it off in the system if you here we go, give you so there's the ability to shut that off so you don't have to listen to it. because it's actually annoying coming over the stereo system. And like I say, it sounds more V8 than what this 6-cylinder sounds like. The 6-cylinder's absolutely anemic and pathetic. It's got no sound to it. So, you know, sticking you out the window, all you hear is wind noise. You don't hear that engine. You don't hear anything at all about this thing. Get in it. By the way, it's about a 6-second downshift there. So this pretty much comes to a seasonal road, and I don't feel like beating up my dealership's paint work on their truck, so I'm not going to go down the seasonal road. I'll just turn it around here at the edge of the farm field. The pluses of living where I live. It's kind of nice and quiet out here. Bunch of herons sitting out there in the field, doing their thing, and then yeah, we'll go back down the other way. A lot of dead-end roads around here. A lot of stuff that's connected by other non-seasonal roads, which are all dirt roads, so that's not too bad. We won't film the neighbor lady here who's out for her run for the day, but here we'll get on it again to the floor, by the way. So all you're hearing is fake sound for the engine. So yeah, it's, like I say, one of the most annoying things I've ever seen inside of a truck, especially when you put a twin turbo 6 in it. And instead of letting people just, you know, enjoy the truck for what it is, you pipe that into the interior through the sound system so that you make them feel like they've got some power under the hood, when it really doesn't. It's a slow vehicle. It weighs quite a bit and does not accelerate like you would like it to. It'll do the one wheel peel in back there just barely. And you know, a lot of that's due to the traction control. My 2015, you have the ability to shut and to completely negate traction control. You can do it at 2 levels. One where there's some interference at the, you know, at the high end of it, and then at the other extreme, there's just 0 interference, which is nice. You know, I like being able to shut it off completely and not have to deal with it. This vehicle, we're to the floor. As you can hear, the tires don't spin at all. And all you hear is that fake engine noise. So yeah, not a big fan. So that'll pretty much wrap it up. I don't know if you guys can see at all the heads-up display. You know, it's got a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit, and by the way, we're on a road that's a 55-mile-an-hour road, and it says 25. My street has a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit, and I don't know if you can see it still or not, but turning onto my road, it still says 25 miles per hour, even though technically this is a 45-mile-per-hour street. So yeah, the system in here is not very accurate for what you're going to get when you're out driving around, and whether or not you get the appropriate speed limit for the area. So I wouldn't rely on it at all. So there's another downside to this vehicle. Again, I don't know if this camera is picking up the heads-up display at all or not. I'll have to see when I go into post-production here and start putting the video together for you guys. If you even see the heads-up display, and I'm aiming it dead at it, so if it's visible, you know, you should see it. My guess here is that it may not show up on camera, but like I say, the speed limits posting that's in the heads-up display is incorrect. It's telling you you're on a 25-mile-an-hour street, and this is a 45-mile-an-hour street. And back when I was on a 55-mile-an-hour street, it was telling me it was 25 miles an hour also. So if Toyota's reporting back, like a lot of other manufacturers are, about you exceeding the speed limit, and you driving too fast for conditions, and they're reporting it to your insurance companies, they, you know, could be telling your insurance company a lie, because the roads you're driving on may not actually be what they are claiming. So that's a bunch of crap too. So yeah, you know, the GPS in this thing is inaccurate from a speed perspective. So for me, I don't know, guys, not a big win. Not something I'd want to own, and I'm certainly not going to give them $80,000+ of my hard-earned money to own this vehicle. It's a $45,000 truck with what's been decontented in it at the most. So Toyota's really banking on you guys to come out there and give them a big profit for this thing. I'm not impressed. And again, I won't own one. So Toyota, stick a V8 back in it. Give us a supercharged option, or twin turbo, a V8 maybe. And you might have something. You might have something I'd be interested in. But I'll be looking elsewhere for my next truck if and when my 2015 dies on me. But I'm not expecting or anticipating that to happen for a long time. I've got about 55,000 miles on my 2015, and if it lives up to its reputation, it should go to at least 250 to 300,000 miles, and I maintain the snot out of it with oil changes at every 2,500 miles. Same thing with the transfer case. Everything gets done at half-lives, so that, you know, if the transfer case says, hey, change it at 50,000, I do it at 25, and then I'll do it again at 50, and then 75, and then 100. So my vehicle should technically outlast even, you know, people who are just maintaining at the factory level. And again, Toyota, like all other manufacturers, has gone to this, hey, we've built a better tolerance engine and a better tolerance vehicle, so what we need to do is spread out our oil change intervals. You know, give you things like, oh, hey, it's lifetime transmission fluid. It's lifetime for the lifetime of the warranty. Once the warranty runs out, you're on your own. Good luck to you. So don't put a lot of weight in what they tell you. Do them at half-lives, and keep your vehicle running much, much longer. They want you to wear these things out faster because they want you to spend another 80 grand. That's, you know, the modus operandi behind every single auto manufacturer. Automobiles could be made to last a lifetime. They intentionally do not do it, so you are, you know, continually in the doctor's position here of a patient cured is a patient lost. So if you have a vehicle that runs really well, guess what? You're not coming in for service. You're not coming in for replacement of the vehicle. And they want you to be in every 5 years to give them another 80 grand now for what these things are going for. And, you know, you're approaching the price of what I paid for my house at this point. So, yeah, I don't think so. I'm more of a, you know, stickler for saving money where I can, and I'll buy a vehicle that's going to last much longer than, you know, it should. Toyota's reputation used to be that. It used to be that mom and dad would buy a car. Little Johnny would go off to college. They'd hand that car to little Johnny and buy a new Toyota because it was so good. And then little Johnny would drive that Toyota through his college years, and it would be a very safe, reliable car that would go forever. And little Johnny would wear that car out, and then because it was so good, And because mom and dad bought a Toyota and handed it down to him, the chances of him going in and buying a new Toyota was significantly higher than most. That's not the case with Toyota anymore. They're falling into the Ford, GM, Chrysler, we just want your money. Come back in every 5 years and replace it. Get a new one. Give us your hard-earned money nonstop for junk that we build. And Toyota's now on that bandwagon, and this truck's pretty evident of that. So appreciate you guys sticking with me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one.